Well, hello, everybody out there. Thank you for joining me again at this time and place. This is the History Shelf, and I am your host, Peg. Say it is a Saturday afternoon, and I rarely these days am able to make a video on the weekend. So I'm a little rusty. If you bear with me, I just finished doing my taxes. And I thought I needed to do something fun for myself. So I thought, why not make a fool of myself on YouTube? So that's, and I hit record and I'm already stumbling all over myself. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. Today, we have new military history from the good folks at Casemate Publishers. It's been a while since my last Casemate Spotlight, but as you know, I am military history is a favorite subcategory of just history in general. And I am very lucky to collaborate with the good folks at Casemate Publishers. And I've got some books here that I want to put on your radar if you guys are into military history like I am. So let's see here. These books are all out now. So the thing with Casemate Publishers is they don't really send out advanced review copies. They're just finished. So that's good. That means if you see something, you can look for it at the library, ask for it at the library, go to the store, order it online, whatever, however you do it. But anyway, these are available now. I'm pretty darn sure. So let's see here. I feel like I might have done some of these already, but I don't think so. Because it's been so long since my last spotlight. So we're just going to dive right in. Let's start off with a big, beefy hardcover. One of the Casemate Publishers imprints, Pen and Sword. And we have Winston Churchill Soldier, The Military Life of a Gentleman at War by Douglas Russell. Isn't that a great cover? Very young man here, as you can see. Very, very nice. I like that. Is it a photo on the back? Yeah, very nice. Let's see here. As a young man, Winston Churchill set out to become a hero, to make a name for himself in the public eye as a soldier, and so make possible a life of politics and statesmanship. There were many chances to fail and many close calls in the face of sword, spear, and bullet along the way. Yet Churchill survived and succeeded, an early measure of his courage and stubborn will that the world would come to know so well in the Second World War. This is the first full-length, fully researched biography of Churchill's colorful military career. So this is going to be good. I'm surprised that there hasn't been one before this, though. Using an unrivaled range of sources and with previously unpublished photographs and detailed maps by Sir Martin Gilbert, it brings vividly to life Churchill's motives, abilities, experiences, successes, and failures, and his unswerving sense of destiny as an officer in the British Army. The result is a story to echo the man himself, rich in action, courage, charismatic self-belief, patriotism, and humor. Wow, all right. Woo! Lots of endnotes in this book. So the readable, oh my goodness, there's tons of maps in the back. About a 345-page book. This is like the readable material right here, which is a lot. But then you got all this. Wow. First full-length biography about Churchill's military career. Oh, look at these photos. Look at this guy. Looks like a baby. Looks like a fetus. Oh, I kid. Yeah, awesome. So, of course, to go with all the different biographies on Churchill that I have, plus so many ancillary World War II books where he features. This is going to be great, just to kind of dive into his military career, his early life. So this is out now from Pen and Sword. Oh, this looks fantastic as well. We're going to jump back to World War One. Another book from Pen and Sword Military. We've got Three Sons for the Kaiser, a German family's sacrifice in the First World War. Look at that. By Hazel Strauss. Look at these guys. Oh, such a vivid cover. This is the story of a German family's sacrifice in the Great War. Philip Girk and his three sons all served, but only Philip survived. He had been a rising star in the Imperial Navy and a close associate of the Kaiser. Though alcoholism ended any hopes of becoming an admiral himself, he joined a circle of admirals working in Berlin. He was sent on spying missions to England on the eve of war. His eldest son, Hermann, a naval lieutenant who had fallen head over heels in love with an Englishwoman, was sent to spy in Russia. Waldemar, the youngest and favorite son, was among those spearheading Germany's early so-called War of Movement. Wounded at the Battle of the Marne, he rejoined his regiment to engage in the trench warfare that characterized from then on the fight on the Western Front. He was mortally wounded on the Somme on the last day of 1914. George, the middle son, joined one of Berlin's student reserve regiments. Ill-prepared and ill-equipped, he was sent to Belgium in October 1914. By 1916, he was one of a tiny handful of officers to have survived in the regiment since the beginning. That was when he volunteered as a company leader. Oh boy. He was killed soon after at Verdun, because in World War I, officers had a horrific casualty rate. So if you got promoted to officer, it was almost sure to be a death sentence. The eldest son, Hermann, had 3 ships sunk under him in the Baltic. He was fighting a war where, from late 1914, the Russian enemy was able to read supposedly secret German orders. In 1917, he volunteered for U-boat service. Oh boy. His boat was sunk off Gibraltar on May 11th, 1918. This time it was the British who were reading German messages. This poignant account of sacrifice in the name of duty and country is told by Hermann's granddaughter. Oh, that's lovely. She draws on Philip's memoirs, family letters, and her own research as she walked through Belgium and onto the Marne, following the tracks of the German army in 1914. Hers is a compelling story, offering a fascinating perspective on patriotism, war, love, and loss. Oh, wow. And our author here, Hazel Strauss, she read history at the University of Cambridge and went on to work as a journalist in Ottawa and Toronto. Wow. All right. Well, I am really down for this family story right here. This sounds amazing. So 3 sons for the Kaiser. All right. What should I dive into next? Okay, well, let's stick with World War I since we're at it. I've got a naked hardcover here from an imprint by the name of Helion. They have very glossy books. The paper is just shiny. Can you see how shiny that is? It's glossy paper. This is The First World War in the Baltic Sea, Volume 1, Essen's Triumph, 1914 to February 1915, by Mark Harris. Not too big of a book, but as you can see, this is a definitive history of the remarkable Baltic naval campaign, revealed through new research in Russian, German, and British archives. In 1914, the Russian commander, Admiral Essen, inspired his outnumbered fleet. Supported by British allies, he forced back the German fleet, achieving a striking victory. It's fascinating. I don't have a pub sheet for this one, but so obviously this is volume 1, and he's going to be following up soon, I think, with volume 2. Of course, we've got all of our maps, the opposing fleets in the Baltic and their plans, plenty of photographs and maps throughout, so this should be interesting. Let me just read a little bit more. The small Russian fleet began the war on the defensive, facing potential destruction at the hands of the more powerful German fleet. Britain dispatched a submarine force to support their ally. Admiral Essen had to overcome defensive caution from his superiors and the disastrous loss of the cruiser Pallada. He forged a productive partnership with British allies. His leadership qualities and innovative tactical approach exploited modern naval technology and intelligence work to the full, helping to turn the tide. Then it goes into the German side. The German commander, Prinz Heinrich, had to navigate fierce rivalries in the German war leadership to resource his fleet. His forces fluctuated constantly as detachments from the North Sea came and went. His subordinate, Admiral Bering, was tireless in carrying out numerous offensive operations and coastal raids. Cruisers clashed repeatedly. Losses mounted. The German flagship Friedrich Karl was sunk. By February 1915, Essen had triumphed. The German fleet in the Baltic was on the defensive, with vital trade routes disrupted. When the Baltic ice thawed in the spring, they would return to attempt to wrest back control, which will be volume 2. So fantastic. I should have inquired and see when volume 2 is coming out. About 270-page read, minus all the appendices in the back. All right, so let's see. Oh, another great one. All right. Right up my alley. Another book from Pen and Sword. We've got Trotsky, The Passionate Revolutionary by Alan Todd. Look at this nice volume here. Although Trotsky was dramatically assassinated just over 80 years ago, he remains a controversial figure. He has had many biographers over the decades, ranging from the overly sympathetic to the extremely hostile. Robert Service, yes, his most recent biographer, expressed the hope that his book would finish off Trotsky, a job he believed the Ice Axe had failed to do in 1940. It's hilarious. And I do have a new book in Galley, The Death of Trotsky, I believe it, by Anthony Beevor's writing on Rasputin, I believe, but got the one on Trotsky, The Death of Trotsky, and I can't wait to read that one. All right, this biography, as expected, deals with those aspects for which Trotsky is noted. His passionate and fiery oratory, which captivated and inspired huge crowds, organizing the Bolshevik Revolution of November 1917, masterminding the creation of the Red Army and ensuring its victory during the Civil War, becoming the most determined opponent of Stalin's creation of a monolithic party and state, being a Marxist theoretician of socialist revolution and combating fascism, and of course, being the originator of the very specific brand of revolutionary socialism that, as early as 1906, became known as Trotskyism. However, this biography also explores other aspects of Trotsky's life which are not so well known. In particular, from a very early age, his love of writing. The world of books and publishing became his first passion. It remained his first love, and if revolutionary politics had not taken over, his life would have been a very literary one. And that's so much more the shame that that didn't happen, you know? What a loss. Immediately after the November Revolution, he hoped to return to his literary work, believing his main practical work as a revolutionary was over. His writings on art and literature, when compared to the stultifying strictures of the socialist realism associated with Stalinism, are remarkably sympathetic and open, while he also wrote many perceptive articles as a war correspondent covering both the Balkan Wars and the early stages of the First World War. Sounds really good. Other aspects covered by this biography concern his family life and his relationships with his children. Also explored is his love life. While it is known he had a brief affair with the Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, there are also suggestions he may have had other affairs. Whatever the truth of such allegations, he certainly maintained a passionate relationship with his long-term companion, Natalia Sadova. And readers should be aware that one proof of that, provided towards the end of this book, contains very explicit language. So excuse me while I go to the back of the book here. Just give me one moment. What's he hinting at here? Oh my God, that is hilarious. What, is there going to be like a dirty letter or something in here? Passionate. Very explicit language. Okay, so it's going to end with a bang. I'm sorry. So Trotsky, the passionate revolutionary, and then of course I got the passionate in there, so that's really going to be a tie-in to the end there. By Alan Todd. I can't wait to dive into this one. Outstanding. All right. This looks interesting. This is about the seeds of British special operations. It was kind of a slim little read, about 145 pages or so, 150. Well, no, 170-ish odd pages. This is directly from Casemate. This is Masters of Mayhem, Lawrence of Arabia and the British military mission to the Hejaz. The seeds of British special ops. This is, by James Stedgeskull, who has written some thriller, military or espionage thrillers with Casemate. So now he's turning his hand to some history titles here. All right, let me tell you what this is about. Strike fast, vanish faster, rewrite the rules of war. In the unforgiving deserts of the Hejaz, a new kind of warfare was born. Masters of Mayhem plunges readers into the heart of the Arab Revolt, an environment where audacious tactics and local alliances were expertly utilized by T.E. Lawrence, one of the earliest practitioners of modern unconventional warfare. Lawrence and the British military mission supported unconventional warfare in the Hejaz, forging an unlikely but devastating coalition. A few specialists allying with indigenous warriors using armored cars. Together, Lawrence and the Hedgehog Force struck where the enemy was weakest. Their work culminated in operations against the Ottoman Turkish army that enabled Field Marshal Allenby to achieve victory in 1918. The success of Hedgehog has influenced special operations and unconventional warfare since the revolt, extending to Field Marshal Wavell, the long-range desert group, David Stirling's SAS, and modern British Special Forces. So all of you T.E. Lawrence fans out there, Lawrence of Arabia fans out there, if you're looking for something you have not read yet, this is one of them. Wild. The armored cars. This is good stuff. All right. Now we go to some ancient history. This is a nice, big, beefy biography, and I love it. Also from Pen and Sword, Tiberius. From Masterly Commander to Masterful Emperor of Rome by Lindsay Powell, forward by Penelope J. Goodman. This is a big, beefy book. Look at this. The shocking true story of Tiberius Caesar, who secured the Roman Empire, yet was slandered by history. Can't have that, now can we? History has not been kind to the memory of Tiberius Caesar, who lived between 42 BC and 37 AD as second emperor of the Romans. His reputation for capable generalship and sensible civic leadership are marred by reports of cruelty, treason trials, and sexual depravity. Some historians have described him as a tyrant or even a monster, but does he deserve this negative appraisal? In Tiberius, Lindsay Powell presents a fresh and penetrating reassessment of the life and legacy of the extraordinary man handpicked by Augustus to succeed him. He shows that Tiberius was the right man for the job at the right time. Tiberius built upon the innovations of Augustus by bolstering the Roman Commonwealth's institutions and reining in its expenditures. He used his proven leadership skills in military and diplomatic affairs to avoid war whenever possible. A no-nonsense disciplinarian willing to eschew popularity for the good of the res publica. He respected the Senate's independence, recruited competent public administrators, rooted out malpractice in provincial government, and was generous to communities blighted by disaster. Tiberius examines the known facts of the personal and professional life of this controversial emperor. He was a soldier, a poet, a collector of art, and an astrologer. Lindsay Powell explores how he dealt with success, disappointment, and loss, all while under the unrelenting pressure of serving Augustus, and then carrying out his ultimate duty by ruling the empire in his own right. Meticulously researched, Tiberius is lucidly written by the author of the acclaimed biographies, Marcus Agrippa and Germanicus. Well, Lindsay Powell, there's our author. I'm intrigued. If I like this one, I might check out his other two biographies. Tons of illustrations throughout. So this is a nice, it's got lots of, what do we got here? Oh yeah, look, we got color on the insides there. Yeah. It's just your standard biography. I mean, it's a big book. And let's see, read the huge bibliography. So you could take a deep dive into this for days. My God, this bibliography is about 100 pages. Between the bibliography and the notes, oh my gosh, let me tell you how much of this book is actual book. There's a glossary, there's abbreviations, the wit and wisdom. Okay, so there's appendices. Okay, are you looking at this? This right here is the biography. This is everything else. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah. Okay, so the actual book through the end, before you get into the wit and wisdom and his quotes, and then, okay, the appendices in case you wanted to read those, but some of these are not really anything to read. You're looking at 290 pages. 290 pages. And then the rest is just stunningly researched. I mean, look at this bibliography. And a lot of it, it is like international in just different languages as well. So a very well-researched biography on Tiberius. I'm going to look up Lindsay Powell after this video and see about his other two biographies as well. Thought you'd want to know about that. Let's see here. All right, we've got another title here from Pen and Sword, looking at the time, and this is Escaping the Russian Onslaught, a family story of fleeing the Russian army after Hitler's Nazi regime. Feel like we're missing a word there. By Dorlies von Kefengst and Meissner Rasmussen. Okay. There we go. Set at the height of World War II, Escaping the Russian Onslaught is the untold story of Ruth Meissner's harrowing journey from her besieged home in Pomerania, Germany, to safety in the middle of Germany. Based on her family history and part memoir, Ruth's daughter imagines what her mother went through in this. Oh, I see. Well, this is one of those factional things. It's a mixture of fiction and fact, so they call it factional. In this factional narrative, yeah, I see. Yeah, there's like some dialogue in here. And okay. When Ruth Meissner heard hooves clattering on the cobblestones of the family's country estate of Klein Poblath, she knew her family was in trouble. Tensions rose as a German equestrian school fleeing the Russians sought refuge in their home. Escaping became imperative for the family's survival. Ruth risked the only life she'd ever known to save her young children, Suzanne, Hans George, and baby Dorlies, from the Russian army and Hitler's Nazi regime. Their harrowing journey began from their home in Pomerania, Germany, to find safety at Schloss Prusen. The Schloss had a two-way radio through which they heard that Pomerania had fallen. By May 15, 1945, they reached Vorade near Lübeck, where two former friends joined the family group. Ruth always remembered her husband's warning before he left for the Western Front. Ruth, do what you must to save yourself and our children. This is their story. So that sounds good. So it's factional. That sounds like a very gripping read as well. Let me move these books over. I got a few more to show you. Another naked hardcover from Helion. They seem to like these, again, naked hardcovers and very glossy pages. This is A Naval History of the Middle East from 500 to 2020. Look at that. Edited by John Dunn and Donald Stoker. Slim volume here. Let's see. A Naval History of the Middle East examines how sea power impacted on a wide range of nations. But just what is the Middle East? The editor's definition is broad, ranging from Morocco to Iran and the Black Sea to the Indian Ocean. Our start point connects readers to the last war between the Byzantine Empire and Sassanid Iran, results of which benefit the rapid expansion of Islam. Okay. And then it goes into a lot more detail, and I've got more books to show, so I'm going to keep kind of rolling on. But you can see they have the footnotes within the text. Oh, that's cool. And these are very kind of specialized. Well, I know Casemate. I mean, there's a lot of mainstream titles, but they go into a great bit of detail when it comes to military studies. So, if you're looking to study a certain battle or campaign or something like that, but you don't want like tactical minutia, this regiment moved here on this date at this time, I got you. So if you ever need a recommendation, let me know. Reach out to me in a comment or email me. My business email address is on the About tab of my channel homepage. Let me know, and I can steer you in the right direction. All right, what else we got here? All right, now we're getting into some recent arrivals, and I've got about 5 more downstairs, so I will be making another Casemate video. I'm going to shoot for another 2 weeks. I'm going to get these out. Whoa, I'm going to get these out there for you guys. I'm dropping things left and right. Hang on. We're supposed to be getting some thunderstorms. It's all threatening. Maybe in a couple hours, but I wanted to make this video and upload it. Oh yeah, now you know who's next. But I need to get some reading done, so let's keep powering on. Boy, I was productive today. Trim the dog's nails. I did my taxes. Oh, I wanted to tell, well, you know what? I'll save all this other stuff for a housekeeping video. Here we go. Next book is Joseph Stalin and the Art of Tyranny, one of history's most feared dictators, by William Nestor. This is from Frontline Books, an imprint of Casemate Publishers. There we go. All right. Let's see what Uncle Joe has to say here. The art of tyranny is real. Successful tyrants provoke comfort and terror, love and fear in those they rule arbitrarily without restraint. They indoctrinate populations to believe that they are infallible demigods dedicated to the people's well-being, guarding them from dangerous enemies within and beyond the regime. Tyrants, of course, do not act alone. They hold and assert unchallenged power from atop a pyramid of institutions packed with fawning sycophants and cowed submissives. Joseph Stalin was not just any tyrant, but perhaps history's most genocidal dictator. Guided by communist ideology, he established a totalitarian political system for the Soviet Union that nationalized all business and farm property, directed and struggled to develop the economy through 5-year plans that determined all prices, wages, and production, and murdered or imprisoned in slave labor camps all enemies of the people. His policies killed at least 20 million people by bullets, famine, disease, and being worked to death. That is clear enough. Yet, Stalin is among history's greatest paradoxes. In Western liberal democracies, knowing people view Stalin with horror as a vicious dictator and mass murderer who brutally ruled the Soviet Union from 1929 until his death in 1953. Yet in Russia, Stalin often tops lists of the most popular historic figure in Levada opinion surveys. Stalinism, the totalitarian political system, was the model for the Eastern European countries and North Korea that the Soviet Union conquered during the Second World War, and for the communist parties that later took power in China, Vietnam, and Cuba. For complex reasons to be explained, thereafter, the totalitarianism of those Stalinist regimes gradually diminished, most to the point where democratic revolutions transformed them from 1989 to 1991. Yet a few, like Russia, China, Belarus, and Vietnam, are authoritarian regimes. Only North Korea and Cuba retain Stalinist regimes. Stalinism as a model bundle of political strategies and tactics, along with the art of creating a personality cult, has inspired actual dictators around the world, including Saddam Hussein, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Hugo Chavez, Francisco Madero, and Daniel Ortega, to name the best known of hundreds of recent ones, and would-be dictators like Viktor Orban, Rodrigo Duterte, Donald Tusk, and Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. An exploration of Stalin and Stalinism is critical to comprehending global politics, not just during his lifetime, but ever since and for the foreseeable future. So this book reveals critical lessons for understanding tyrants and those realms of human nature that make them possible. That's the kind of book I love. These are the type of books I gravitate to. I always try to understand from a psychological standpoint and sociological, like, how do people fall under the sway, so this sounds really good. Just, me, I've got a minor in dictators. So this is going to join my army of Stalin or Soviet Union books. So I'll let you know how this is. William Nestor, Joseph Stalin and the Art of Tyranny. I know somebody's, well, if that person read, they were probably taking notes from that book. All right, let's do this one next. This looks good too. So now we got just a straight up history of a World War II battle. And this is a very interesting book. It's kind of oversized, but it's a Casemate Publishers title. Ooh, very detailed. Okay, what are we looking at here? This is the first battle for Kesternich, Hurtgen Forest, the Ardennes, Ruhr, and URFT dams, December 1944, by George T. McKnight. So let's see if you can take in that entire title. All right, so Kesternich, the first battle of Kesternich. In mid-December 1944, parts of 3 U.S. infantry divisions jumped off towards the Ruhr-Urft dams. It's a very interesting name. The Ruhr-Urft dams, gateway to Germany. Most accounts focus on the 2nd and 99th Division's push towards Wallerscheid, neglecting the critical battle fought by the 78th Infantry Division for the village of Kesternich, key to the Monschau corridor, which itself was the key to the Ruhr dams. As the Americans advanced, they collided with, it's German, with 272 and 326 Volksgrenadier Division, which were racing to stabilize the north shoulder of what would soon erupt as the Ardennes offensive. Contrary to conventional accounts, the fight for Kesternich was no isolated skirmish, but part of a broader clash that threatened to unravel the German winter counteroffensive before it began. Drawing on both American and German archival sources, including untranslated German foreign military studies and first-hand oral histories, the author re-examines the complexity and strategic implications of this little-known battle. Through a tapestry of combat reports, personal recollections, and previously inaccessible documentation, this book restores Kesternich to its rightful place in the narrative of the European theater. It reveals not only a forgotten battle, but also the evolving nature of mid-war tactics, training, and organization on both sides of the front. So, I've never heard of Kesternich. So, of course, I've heard of the Ardennes. So, I will definitely dip into this. I'd like to maybe keep this alongside maybe Anthony Beevor's book on the Ardennes, as like a complementary, let's go into more deeper detail into this section of the battle or this campaign. Wow, look at that. Oh, that's helpful. I love how this shows the actual landscape. It shows like the houses, the farms, and where in each, as these things outline above, the battle key points and how the advance was made. the like northern attack route, the route, and some of the buildings that were part of the battle that featured in it. So fascinating. I'll learn something about Kesternich, but if you are a specialist, then I think this is a book you're going to want to check out from Casemate. All right. I'm just going to show you this because, wow. It's kind of, it almost seems too much. It's like, why would I want this, right? But it's like, this is hard work for someone to put all this work together. A tranche of photographs and photos I haven't even seen before. And so I just figured this is something I should have and keep, even though it's about very diabolical people. All right, this is volume 1. Are you ready for this? And it had a blurb on the front from Ian Kershaw, so you know I had to get it. So this is Essay Führer, the Senior Leadership of Hitler's Stormtroops, 1920 to 1945, volume 1, by Michael Miller and Andreas Schultz. And this thing is heavy. Wow. Volume 1. And like I said, not nice people. They're very evil people. Look at this. Oh, yeah. I'm almost, it's like I don't want people I was like, I'm not a Nazi lover. I'm not. But it's history. And there's like mini biographies of each of the main officers in here. And maybe it takes up so many pages because they have these very wide margins. I mean, yeah. But I mean, there are so many photos in here. Just so many. Every page. And I'm just like, I just thought from a visual standpoint, from just like a photographic record, historical record, I would like to have it, because what if at some point, history like this wants to be, people in power might want to do away with this and say, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And I'll say, oh, really? Really? These people didn't happen? Okay. Well, I'd like to keep, telling the truth about this time period, and people that just look up to this shit as isn't that awesome? No, it's not awesome. It's evil. It's the devil's work. So it's better to know evil and to know what it looks like. So anyway, this is a massive, let me just read to you what the description is on this one. Okay. An unswervingly loyal, highly disciplined militant force is as essential to the establishment and maintenance of a dictatorship as the dictator himself. So true. Many factors contributed to the emergence of the Third Reich, and prominent among them were the actions of Hitler's earliest paramilitary force, the Sturmabteilung, or the SA, stormtroops, and the men chosen by the Führer to lead it. Although Hitler ultimately culled the SA of its most revolutionary elements, like Ernst Röhm, there remained within it and the other party-affiliated organizations a spirit of fanatical, sometimes mindless worship of its supreme leader. We have a lot of those people in Congress right now. This first volume, based on official personnel files and other contemporary documentation, analyzes the lives and careers of the 13 highest-ranking SA leaders, men who held the ranks of Oberster, SA Führer, and SA Stabschef. God, that's just Stabschef. I mean, just the words themselves sound brutal and violent. Okay, so it's highlighting the 13. Yeah, here it is, like the biographies, volume 1, Oberster, SA Führer, and Stabschef. So look at that. Just consider that for a moment. Ugh. All right. I just thought to have this type of scholarship, research, photographic record, part of me was just like, if I can get a copy, I'd like to have it. Just so that, again, like I said, in some weird scenario where there's an apocalypse, but yet paper and books are somehow survive. It makes no sense. But I was just like, no, we need to have this. Plus, I do want to dip into this. I want to definitely, and I've already looked through most of these photos. They're chilling and amazing. There's a very long biography on here of Goring. So I was interested in that, as well as I finally watched Nuremberg, the film. I should make a video. You guys interested in me like doing a film or a movie review video? It wouldn't be long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But knowing me, I might chat around a lot. Because they just released it on Netflix. So I finally sat down and watched it the other night. And Russell Crowe plays Goering. I have thoughts about that movie. Spoiler alert, I was not impressed. I almost went to the theater and paid good money to see it, thinking it would be some blockbuster historical movie. It was not that. And the acting, could we not have Rami Malek make another movie for a while? Because that would be great. That was not good. It makes me just want to go read the book that it was based on, because I think the book would be far more enjoyable. But anyway, let me know if you'd like a movie review of Nuremberg. But anyway, okay, so this is going to be volume 1. It's important for the historical record. Big, hefty book. So, you hardcore guys out there and gals, if you're, you kind of read books or collect books on this stuff, know that is out now. All right. How many books left? I have one more book left. And I haven't hit 50 minutes yet. Okay, so this is brand new from Pen and Sword. I thought I had the pub sheet. Okay, I'm going to just have to read from the front. Near and dear to my heart, we've got Marshal Pilsudski and His Wars for Polish Freedom by Evan McGilvray. Subtitle is Poland's Conflicts with Ukraine, Lithuania, and Soviet Russia. From Pen and Sword Books. Brand new. All right. Pilsudski was the leading proponent of armed Polish resistance to Tsarist Russian rule in the early years of the 20th century. During the Russo-Japanese War, he went to Japan to seek arms and funds for a Polish uprising. In World War I, he skillfully walked a perilous line. He raised the Polish Legion to fight alongside the Central Powers against the Russians. In the war's closing stages, he distanced himself from the Central Powers and secured independence for Poland. And I lied. I have one more book. So I am going to hit my 50-minute mark. Anyway, having attained his great goal of a free Poland, he fought a series of wars. These little-known conflicts with Ukraine and Lithuania are illuminated by Evan McGilvray. When it became clear that Bolshevik Russia was preparing to invade Poland, Pilsudski launched a preemptive attack in 1920. Despite early successes, the Russians were able to gain the upper hand and were almost at the gates of Warsaw before Pilsudski's masterful counterattack brought about the miracle of the Vistula and turned the tide. This is a fascinating and long overdue study of a key figure in modern European history, for sure. Pilsudski. That's very important. Oh, this guy was hardcore. Just look at this dude. Look at this dude. He's like, yeah, you see me? I got the stick in my hand. Beat you with it. All right. Just kidding. All right. So Pilsudski is out. All right. I'm going to end with Civil War because I've been reading a lot of Civil War lately, and I just reminded me all over again why I fell in love with the topic. It is entrancing. This is a brand new book. It actually came out January 31st, so it's only been out a couple months, from Casemate. And in fact, let me remind you again of Military May, the booktube event that Patrice Jones from 2 Minutes on Books is putting on. And I have a lot of options. I'll be participating. She has 4 prompts, and I think the prompts, I can pretty much use books from the stack to cover those prompts, but this one I really want to read, so I'm going to have to make it fit into one of those prompts. This is Preeminent Strategist, General Joseph Eggleston Johnston, the Confederacy's most agile general. Look at this. by F. Gregory Toretta. Again, a Casemate imprint title. There he is on the back with Robert E. Lee when they were old men. All right. Confederate General Joseph Eggleston Johnston's brilliance in adapting to the evolving art of war set him apart as one of the Civil War's most innovative strategists. Johnston keenly understood the revolutionary impact of new technologies, rifled muskets, railroads, telegraphs, and trench warfare, and applied these insights to conserve the South's most critical resource, its soldiers. His motto, "Let the place go and save the garrison," encapsulated his belief in prioritizing manpower over territory. He was convinced of the importance of concentrating force to overcome the advantage in numbers the Union enjoyed. Johnston's reputation as a master tactician was widely recognized, even by his adversaries. Renowned British war correspondent Sir William Howard Russell lauded him in 1861 as the Confederacy's finest strategist. Years later, Union General Ulysses S. Grant conceded that Johnston caused him more anxiety than any other Southern commander, stating, "Take it all in all, the South, in my opinion, had no better soldier than Joe Johnston. None, at least, that gave me more trouble." So take that, Robert E. Lee. So Robert E. Lee, just kidding. Despite his genius, Johnston's career was marred by his fraught relationship with Confederate President Jefferson Davis, one of my least favorite, or least like, just one of the guys, Americans that I've always detested him. Okay. Davis was critical of Johnston, and his meddling undermined Johnston's strategies and weakened the Southern war effort. I agree 100% with that. Davis had his head up as you know what. He was, even though Johnston, he had ego. All these guys had ego to some extent, the least of which was Grant. He had the lowest ego of them all, I thought. But Jefferson Davis could never forgive a slight, and he screwed his war effort because he wouldn't stop poking him, Joe Johnston. He just wouldn't stop. And neither man could say, look, sorry, let's work together. No. But Davis was the worst at it. He was the worst. Okay. So, as noted by his contemporary, Lieutenant General James Longstreet, I don't like the Confederacy and what they did, but there were certain personalities from a military standpoint and just how they led men in battle that I respected, and James Longstreet is at the top of my list. Joe Johnston is not far behind, but James Longstreet is one of the Confederates I like the most. Just sharing. As noted by James Longstreet, Johnston's talents for Army command and campaign management were unparalleled, but he was denied the opportunities afforded to others. This book argues that with proper support and alignment of leadership, Johnston's innovative strategies might have altered the course of the war. So this is a book I definitely want to try to squeeze into Military May and talk about after the event, and say, these are the books I read to support this BookTube event. I really please join us for Military May. It's a little gathering of BookTube people, and some of us are hosts, some of us are just, eager BookTube watchers and readers. So everyone can be involved. So just come on and join us. All right. So this wraps up my Casemate spotlight video of new military history books that you may be interested in. Like I said, I'm going to be tapping into some of these very soon. I can't believe. Yeah, May is only a few weeks away. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. So I've got, these books are way too heavy to do a pyramid, but here I go, 50 minutes, guys. Thanks for joining me here at the History Shelf. Please drop a like, comments, subscribe. It helps my channel. It helps me to know that I'm doing a service to you guys or for you by showing you new books and giving you ideas of what to check out next time you're at the bookstore, the library, shopping online, whatever you do, wherever you find books, keep these in mind. All right, guys, until next time, thank you so much for joining me here at the History Shelf. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope we get some rain because we sure do need it here. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me again. Bye-bye.